After a crucial mission carried out by the police, Cody Johnson's dead body was found while it was at the bottom of a 300-foot cliff in a shallow creek. On the 7th of June 2013, Jordan Graham explored that there was a severe argument between them. During that argument, Graham had churned and walked away. At that moment, Johnson had grabbed Graham's hand hardly. 8 days after Cody Lee Johnson's and Jordan Graham's wedding, Cody Lee Johnson died. Who was Cody Lee Johnson and Jordan Graham? Who killed Cody Lee Johnson? Did his beloved wife kill him? This is your partner in crime. Subscribe and let's move along this mysterious journey ahead. 8 days after the marriage of 25-year-old Cody Lee Johnson and 22-year-old Jordan Graham, Cody Lee Johnson was found dead. The year was 2013. The city was Montana. Since 2012 December, Johnson and Graham have known each other, and when their relationship went on, Johnson proposed to Graham. After they proposed to each other, the dates for the wedding were also fixed. Their wedding was scheduled for June 29, 2013. The location for the wedding was Kewasple, Montana. Now, here's the twist. On June 7, 2013, Johnson suddenly disappeared. On the date on which Johnson disappeared, the police had received several reports of missing a person. Later, they found that these multiple reports were from a single person. That was Graham, Johnson's beloved wife. Soon after recognizing it, on the next day, Jordan Graham was invited to an interview session for the police station. According to her statement, this couple had attended a dinner with their friends, and they had finally driven home after enjoying it. When her husband was driving home, he had received a phone call suddenly. After answering and responding, his mood was upset at all. At around 9:45 p.m., the couple had reached home. After returning home, Graham recognized that her phone's battery was almost dead, so she had to search for a charger, but at that moment she could not find any. After realizing that there was no charger at that moment, Graham had to drive from their residence to another area in search of a phone charger. When she was on her way to find a phone charger, she received a text message from her beloved husband, Johnson. The text was informed that Johnson was going for a drive with a friend from out of town. After fulfilling Graham's need, she reached home. She saw Johnson leaving the parking lot and drove away from their residence. During the investigations of checking their phone records, they realized that the recent messages on both phones had been deleted. The reason for this was also questioned by Graham. Her answer was a little surprising. She answered that as a habit. Both of them delete their text messages soon after reading and responding to them. Sounds unusual, right? Is it a sign of guilt? In July, a friend of Jordan was interviewed too by the police. According to her statement, Jordan had given some warnings that she had secondary thoughts regarding her marriage with Johnson. On July 7, 2013, she also decided to talk about this with her husband. Jordan had also sent a message to this friend before she talked with Johnson. This friend had also responded to that text message saying, "I will pray for you guys." But Graham had responded to her again in an unusual manner. The same day during the interview, the friend said that Graham was texting with her back and forth with this friend. On the same day, a U.S. park ranger received a report of a dead body at Glacier National Park. The surprising thing was the reporting party was Jordan. The body had been lying in a specific area in that park called the Loop, which was a very popular viewpoint of tourists. According to recent reports, she had also visited this location with her mother and brother to search for her beloved husband. However, the police had to organize a crucial mission to get this dead body returned because it was at the bottom of a 300-foot cliff in a shallow creek. In July 2013, according to records, the police had decided to talk to another friend of both Johnson and Graham. According to this friend's statement, when Graham was at the church daycare center with this friend, Graham received an email from Johnson's friend. The email informed Graham that Johnson was dead. Graham had also shared this incident with her friend and had said Johnson was no longer alive. All of a sudden, the police investigated the email account in which this email was received by Graham was also created by Graham. So she had sent that email to herself, and it was a one-woman show. Here is what she had written in that email. Hello, Jordan. My name is Tony. There is no bother in looking for Cody anymore. He is already gone. I saw your post on Twitter and thought I would email you. He had come with some of his friends and met up with me on Sunday night in Columbia. He was saying he needed to be with his friends for a bit and take them for a joy ride before they had to go. So he said bye to me and they took off in a black car for a ride. 3 of the guys came back saying they had gone for a ride in the woods. Somewhere Cody got out of the car and went for a little hike, and they were positive. He fell and he is dead. Jordan Graham's journey to committing the tragic act of pushing her husband, Cody Lee Johnson, off a cliff in Glacier National Park didn't start on the fateful evening of July 7, 2013. It began with a series of events and emotions that culminated in a burst of anger and violence. It all started with an argument between Jordan and Cody. This argument wasn't like any other they had before. It was intense, filled with emotion, and seemed to touch on deeper issues within their relationship. The tension between them escalated quickly, and Jordan, feeling overwhelmed, decided to leave. She got into her car and drove to the loop area of the park, hoping to find some solace or clarity away from Cody. But the argument didn't end there. When they met again at the park, the conflict resumed. They walked to a secluded area away from prying eyes, but also away from safety. The ground was uneven, with a steep incline, reflecting the instability of their relationship at that moment. As they stood facing each other, emotions running high, Cody grabbed Jordan's arm. It was a desperate attempt to hold on to her, to make her stay, to resolve whatever issues were tearing them apart. But Jordan, feeling trapped and suffocated, reacted instinctively. She forcefully pulled her arm away from Cody's hand, but instead of walking away as she could have, her anger escalated. In that moment of rage and frustration, Jordan pushed her hands against Cody's back. It wasn't a calculated move, nor was it intended to cause harm. It was a split-second decision made in the heat of the moment, fueled by a whirlwind of emotions. But the consequences were devastating. The force of Jordan's push sent Cody tumbling over the cliff, his fate sealed as he fell face first into the abyss below. In the aftermath of Cody's fall, Jordan was left grappling with the enormity of what had just happened. Shock and disbelief washed over her as she stared at the spot where Cody had disappeared from view. The reality of her actions began to sink in, filling her with a profound sense of guilt and remorse. As the investigation unfolded and Jordan was confronted with the gravity of her deeds, she realized the extent of her betrayal. She had not only taken Cody's life, but had also shattered the trust and love that once bound them together. The weight of her actions became too heavy to bear, and she found herself engulfed in a whirlpool of guilt and sorrow. In the end, Jordan Graham's plead guilty to second-degree murder was a somber acknowledgement of the irreparable damage she had caused. The dropped charges and eventual sentencing to 30 years in prison served as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked anger and impulsive actions. And amidst the wreckage of shattered lives and broken dreams, one question lingered unanswered. What could have been done differently to prevent this tragedy from ever occurring? During their wedding, a songwriter had written a special song for this lovely couple. Here is one of the lines from that song read, "You helped me to climb higher for a better view. You are my safe place to fall. You never let me go." These lines could contain a double meaning, which we had not even guessed regarding Graham's mentality. According to the investigators, this could have a meaning like this too. You helped me to climb higher for a better view. Then you sent me plunging to my death. While the investigators further investigated this woman, Jordan Graham, they found some valuable information. According to the point of view of friends of Jordan Graham, Jordan was immature, socially inept, shy, quiet, naive, and unable to relate well to adults. She was also a woman who was deeply religious, and she was not allowed to date until she was 18 years old. She had lived with her parents until the night of her wedding. She had not even believed in premarital. Her whole working experience was in a daycare. She had best interacted with children unless with adults. What do you think about this case? Stay tuned, we'll catch you with a new nail-biting crime thriller tomorrow.